Welcome to the D Watts Podcast. I'm your host, D Watts. We're going to go right into it. We're going to go over a couple of things that really interest me. I think this would be the point where any other show would probably give an introduction. I just want to get you to know me and the guests that I have on the show in the future. And we'll go from there, build a rapport together. I'll get to know you at the same time you get to know me. And you'll always be able to receive feedback from me and any comments on any platform that I post. It's the D Watts Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. You can always have a direct link on Libsyn. I plan on growing with this podcast. So if you want to leave a comment like, the sound is bad, or you should do this, you should do that, I really don't know. Leave it. I mean, even if your criticism is not even corrective, if you just want to say something crazy, I mean, say it, man. I'm with it. I'm really with it. You can leave any comments you got. It's not gonna hurt my feeling. And I accept all criticism. I really do. I open myself up to doing this. So I'm down to accept it. I mean, when I ask about things like the dopest movies of 2018 or go back through music, I'll always give you my input, but I desire yours. I want to know what you think. Even if you want to critique about mine, I'm with it. I mean, I talk to my peers about music a lot, and a conversation that I recently had was, what are some of the greatest bands to you? And when I started jumping off of my list saying things like Earth, Wind and Fire, The Roots, Parliament, they were all on board with me. When I started saying things like Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, and I think a cultural block kicked in. And not to say that any group of people just listen to certain music, but I think there is some truth in that. And to hear it said back to you in a way like that. But let me just go over some of the lists and things that I want to run down in this first part of the first episode. And we'll go from there. When I was asking people who are my friends, what do they think the dopest movie was of 2018? There was a follow-up question that I had to ask them. Do you think that movies that were made specifically to go directly to Netflix count in the same way that movies that go to the movie theater do? And I asked that because in this streaming generation, being able to get a hold of things or being able to watch a complete season or something right away seems like the gold standard now. But I want to know what you think. I've been talking to people about the dopest album of 2018. I mean, for award purposes in hip hop, seemed like a lot of people were saying Pusha T. I personally thought Nipsey Hussle Victory Lap was one of the dopest albums. I like what Wayne did after a long break. I thought, you're going to get clever with Lil Wayne. You're going to get punchlines. But I just thought he touched something a little deeper. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's not tangible, but he touched something deeper. And I don't know. Maybe if you feel like you know what that is, or maybe you feel like he didn't do it. Let me know. The best single. I think the best single this year would definitely have to be an R&B song, just because so many artists came on the scene. I mean, like her, not to say that she came on the scene in 2018 because she had work before that, but her emergence of 2018 was crazy. Dopest female, Man, I thought Tiffany Haddish was pretty dope. She killed Girls Trip. She came through. She just knocked out movie after movie in 2018. But Cat Williams talked about seeing the comedian be a comedian, and I thought that's unfair. I felt like Red Fox and Richard Pryor would have said that too, because they didn't have the tools of social media and other things. But these are the times we live with. You're equipped with more tools. You're able to do more things electronically, and I don't think you can fault a person for that. So if a comedian doesn't come up out of doing stand-up in a comedy club, I don't think that takes away from them being a comedian. But I also saw the way that I guess you would say she bombed. I think those are growing pains. But the way that it looked, to hear her like actually give up on her performance made me wonder, is stand up her thing? And I don't want to sound negative or discouraging in any kind of way, because I believe that no matter what job you do, you're gonna have a bad day. You're gonna have a bad game. It just works that way. I mean, MJ didn't have a great game every night. LeBron don't have a great game every night. Kobe didn't have a great game. I seen Kobe have bad years. So, I mean, you could be considered a great at what you do and still stumble. I mean, if anything, that's why people continue to work hard. I look at the comedians that continue to work hard and grind out and steadily move forward. And I think it's a direct reflection of the work ethic that they give into it. Dopest male. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I think I'll stay in the comedy realm with it. I think Kevin Hart. Now, is he my favorite comedian? Absolutely not. But it's because I have a certain type of comedian that I like. I like a comedian that can stand there and tell jokes without all the theatrics and jumping around and doing all that. And if you can be funny that way, just from your material, I'll be a fan of yours. And then if you jump around and do all those things, I get it. But like comedians like Marlon Wayans, who like how flexible you are as a part of every joke, I don't really get into that. Like the kicks and all the like kicking your leg up behind your head. Nah, guy, I ain't come to see you be a contortionist. Like, make me laugh. Like, but I thought Kevin Hart was pretty dope. The dopest shoes that got released 2018. It's funny for me to say this, and there were a lot of dope shoes that came out, but I think some of the designs for the Pharrell human races were sick. They were really, really, really sick. I like the amount of input that he has in. It seems like almost everything that he does, or from a design perspective, I like. I mean, I remember my kids took me to go see a movie with them, where I took my kids to a movie, and well, we drug each other. But it was like the Despicable Me soundtrack that he did, and I'm watching the movie and I was like, this got like a vibe that's stronger than any cartoon movie I went with them before. And then it kicked in, I'm having a bad day. I was like, man, who EP'd this? This is crazy. And it was Pharrell. I just, he has a touch. He definitely has a touch. And I think that the human races are definitely the dopest kicks of 2018 to me. You had the high-end shoes of Balenciagas and Dolce made the runners and, things. I think the Jordan release, waiting in line, fan in me just won't let me gravitate to that. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it ain't for me. Maybe I can't see myself spending $800 on a mediocre looking shoe just for a name. I mean, there are even numbers of Jordans that I passed on. So my allegiance isn't blind to what I spend my money on or for a brand. So I believe in that. I really do. Biggest boss of 2018. I don't know who I would call the biggest boss. I would really like to know who you guys consider to be the biggest boss. I mean, a really dope concept for me is, what's the criteria to be a boss? That's really what I'm interested in. What are we considering the criteria to be a boss? Now, when I talk about the dopest album, I'm not talking about sales, because you could drop a underground mixtape or like, for me, Fabulous Soul Tapes were possibly one of the hardest mixtape series or mixtape group ever made. But I don't think sales would correlate that, since it's a mixtape. But it doesn't take away how hard it is to me. If I had to make a top 5 in mixtapes, as far as a body of work, Fab would be in it easy. And that makes him a boss to me. But I want to know, what's the criteria for being a boss? Ross definitely had to be a bigger boss. He took the Wingstop franchise and he's doing great things with that. I mean, the MMG itself. I mean, look at how the roster falling back. Wale starting to make dope music again. Meek's home. I don't really know if Stalley still on there and like what Gunplay doing, but Ross got new stuff slated for 2019. So, I mean, I just look at big boss moves from him. And to the next topic, the biggest flop. Man, I seen a lot of people performing at bar mitzvahs, and then I thought that was a flop. And then I seen Cardi say she performed at a bar mitzvah. She turned up. They didn't have an edited version to a song. They rocked out. So I don't know. I need you to tell me, what's the criteria for a flop? A flop for a year. And let me know. I mean, I'm interested to know who y'all think is the most improved person, what's the best book, and who's the most influential person. I need to know all those things. I need insight from you guys as well. It's a give and take. But what you just got was a brief synopsis of the D-Watch Show. Coming to you soon.